Hello, howdy, hi everybody. Sam Goodman, the Hop Nerd, joining you for another Hop Nerd live show. Before we get started, make sure you head over to the website www.thehopnerd.com. Follow along on all things social media at the Hop Nerd, except for Twitter because it is super duper special, but nobody likes Twitter anyways. It's kind of dumb. It's the Hop Nerd 1. Send me an email, sam@thehopnerd.com or thehopnerd@gmail.com. Thank you for joining us today. As I'd mentioned over the past couple days, I've been doing this thing daily, right? Just about every single day with everything that's been going on, and it's been super awesome. This is our normal show, so this is our Wednesday 5 p.m. show. So thank you for tuning in. I'm watching the comments. I'm watching pretty much everything. So if you comment, we'll talk. If you send me a text, we'll talk. I've got my handy dandy cell phone right over here. So you can text me at 480-877-0155. We're debugging, working on this entire call-in thing, but I think we've got it kind of, sort of working. So you can call us, 480-712-5219. Give us a call, 480-712-5219, and we will have you live on the air. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. I mean, that's what we've been doing for the last little bit. I mean, doing this thing daily, we definitely get way outside of the safety space. So anything that's on your mind, anything that you want to talk about, let us be your guides into the apocalypse, into the Black Plague of 2020. Let us be your guides and take you through this thing. We'll go through it together. I keep saying us because, as I have promised, since last Friday, this guy right here is with me. Everyone say hi. Everyone say hi, Jarrell.
Hi, Jarrell. Hello,
most of you know this handsome fella here as Jarrell. I know him as Babe, right? This is my significant other, and I love him very, very much.
Oh,
even though he doesn't love me.
I love you very much.
But he's going to join us once again to talk coronavirus, COVID-19. All that kind of stuff, right? Our last episode, he hung out with us on the Friday late night episode. We went on like 8 or 9.
Yep.
And we went for a couple hours talking COVID-19 coronavirus stuff, and that was a lot of fun. I don't remember the exact spill, but basically what we're going to tell you is that don't take anything that we talk about as medical advice. We're not giving any type of medical advice if we are talking COVID-19, if we are talking stuff. We're two idiots. And
just him, not me.
Well, when you get sued...
I'm just kidding.
We're two idiots and don't listen to our advice. That's basically what I'm saying. There's your legal disclaimer. If you want a healthy dose of our opinion, that's what we'll give you. And you follow our opinions at your own risk, obviously. So I thought it would be fun to have Jarrell back just because I like it. It's fun to spend time together this way. Those of you that tuned in yesterday for the show, Avery is with us as well. She's over here eating I just knocked Jarrell's camera all wacky and loose. But she's over here eating a Happy Meal as we do this stuff. So we'll see how long we can go before she joins us here and does the earthquake cam thing again. But as I said, send us a text, 480-712-5219, or, excuse me, that's the call-in number. Oh, it's already starting bad. Call us at 480-712-5219. You can also text us. There's a text number there as well, 480-877-0155. Any questions, anything you want to talk about, any comments that you have, what's going on in your neck of the woods? I will tell you, I mention it in the comments every single time. If you like it, if you love it, if you got to have more of it, please share it, right? That's how we keep this thing going. Like it, share it, all that kind of fun stuff. We're simulcasting, so we're not just here on Facebook. We're over on our YouTube channel. We're over on the Hop Nerd Facebook page as well. We basically send this thing to all of our platforms kind of at one time. Other than LinkedIn, they're all weird about who gets to live stream. Turds. That's the LinkedIn. Right?
LinkedIn. Shame you.
Eli Halbert, what's going on, Jarrell? You are looking healthy despite your profession.
Thank you so much. You look healthy as well.
That's true. So he's in the front lines, right? I mean, he's really kind of on the front lines there with everything that's going on. We really have to say.
Yeah.
So how's things going in your neck of the woods, babe?
It's somewhat still the same. You know, we are still taking our preventive precautions, primarily focusing on safety of our patients as well as just my staff and myself and my family and everybody else, really. It's just being creative with limited resources and just making sure that you don't spread the virus. That's pretty much it. There's a lot of things going on. A lot of CDC keeps changing certain things, and we're just trying to keep up with all the changes that happens like every second. So we're alive and we're doing well. So hopefully this whole COVID thing just goes away.
Right. Well, I keep sharing my opinion, and my opinion is that we're probably going to be in this thing for a while, probably a whole lot longer than what we had initially thought, at least. And I've seen some pretty cool stuff. That's some of the I'll give you some Phoenix status update. That's kind of what I've been doing every single day, is just what's going on in our neck of the woods. But I did notice that there was some PPE donation that was going on. That's pretty cool. So I can say that, without naming names here, but I've seen some of that stuff from a pretty reputable company that I know very well that had donated some PPE to some first responders and to some stuff like that, like respirators and gloves and all that kind of stuff. And I forgot, so I've got some latex gloves that I was going to put them on and put on the respirator before we started, but
don't
it's
waste
kind of
it.
a gag. But
do not waste it.
Just tell that to Grandma in Walmart right now, wearing her gloves, pushing around her buggy, and then getting in her car and smearing that all over her car, and then touching her face with the gloves on and all that stupid stuff. Natural selection's about to take full effect, I guess is kind of what I'm getting ready to say. But yeah, everything here is going pretty good. We're seeing some cool stuff like that. That's going to continue to be my message. I'm going to share with you every single time you see my face, which is preparedness, not panic, right? We need to continue to drive preparedness, and it's a time for helping, not hiding. So we need to continue to promote that message. We need to continue to share that. We need to continue to look out for our neighbors, look out for our friends, reach out to folks. Yeah, it's probably a really good idea to be isolated, to be away, but you can still call people, you can still check on people, you can still do crazy stuff like this, right? This is the world that we live in. We can just all hang out like this and just have a cool conversation. Mike says hi, guys.
Hi Mike.
So we haven't been to the grocery store lately, so I can't give you a grocery store update. I don't quite know what that looks like right now. Things seem to be pretty calm in Phoenix, at least at the moment. Things seem to be a little calm still. We're not completely shut down yet or anything like that.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, from my family in California, everything's on lockdown. They have no more, it's hard to access any water or dry goods and rice and any cleaning supplies, toilet paper. But in Arizona, we're doing pretty well. We went to the grocery store the past weekend, and it was stocked, but everything was limited. But yeah, Arizona's the place to be, guys.
Don't tell people that.
I'm just kidding. Stay where you are.
Don't come to Arizona. It's terrible. Stay away. If you show up here, Arizona's a lots of guns
state.
In Arizona. Don't come to Arizona. Terrible gun owners in
Pow,
Arizona. But no, in all seriousness, everything is going pretty good here. Things are treating us well. There's nothing for us to really complain about. We can get food. We can get cleaning supplies, kinda.
Yeah.
Toilet paper still in high demand. If you know one of those people out there that was the panic hoarder of toilet paper, you throw rocks at them, cuss at them when you see them in the streets. Bunch of rednecks. Throw sticks at them, do something. They deserve it. Trust me, they deserve it. But be mean to them is what I'm saying. Be extremely mean to those idiots that hoarded all the toilet paper. Same thing for the people that are drop kicking grandma to get extra bottles of water.
Right.
Be mean to them. They deserve it. They'll quickly realize that they can't eat that toilet paper when things really get crazy.
Maybe it's not that bad. Eat it with rice and beans.
Yeah, maybe there's a TP cookbook. Maybe there's market in that for the apocalypse. So anybody out there that wants to make a quick buck, come up with the I think the toilet paper cookbook or the domesticated animal cookbook would probably be one of the two things that would probably make a small fortune right now. Give them X-Lax so they need all that TP. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I seen the kind of food that they were getting, and when they were buying all that stuff up, and I don't know, they might not have enough toilet paper. They were buying some pretty outrageous stuff, so they might need it all. Allison, hey brother, glad to see you all are safe and okay. We are too. Only shopping I've done is online. Wally World grocery, bread, meats, cheese, TP are scarce here. Yeah, that's the stuff that we're seeing. Hey, thanks for that. Glad to hear you guys are doing awesome as well, or at least okay. I like to say awesome. I mean, we're still blessed. We're still together. We're getting lots of family time. That's really that's the silver lining to it for us, is we're getting to spend more time together. At least we'll say that now. And if one of us murders the other one, then you know why. But no, we're having a blast with it. But yeah, that's what we're seeing here too. Is no matter where you go, whether it is Sam's Club, we're mostly Sam's Club shoppers. I've shared that quite a bit. We're mostly Sam's Club folks, but it's similar. It's Walmart, right? So it's Walmart in bulk. So when you go there, anything that's really light at Walmart's usually light at Sam's too. It seems like. And even there, the grocery stores, Fry's, any of the other places that we go, they all seem to be light on meat, at least red meat, right? There's some chicken, stuff like that. There's pretty harsh limits on what they do have, which I guess is a good thing. But if you're like us and you eat a lot of meat, it's kind of a crappy time, right? I mean, we got plenty of food, but we really can't get our hands on steaks and kind of the general stuff that we normally like. The only thing that I will complain about, again, I mentioned this the other day, but you see this.
What?
It is hot in here.
It is hot in here. Because
our air conditioning broke. Fortunately, we had defined this yesterday, Phoenix has several levels of hot, and it has not reached the level as hot as hell yet. It's not quite Phoenician hot. It's still pretty early spring for Phoenix. So it's not cooking in here yet, so we're surviving, but we're waiting on them to come fix our air conditioning. They had to order a part here at the studio, so we're waiting on that. So that's the only thing I can really complain about. Other than that, we've got food to eat. We're doing okay. Fortunately, we had bought a Sam's Club pallet of toilet paper before it became the cool thing to do. And
so we're kind of ready.
We're doing pretty good. The only thing that I can really complain about, and this is, so here's some of my story time for today. I just woke up the other day and my elbow doesn't work. So I don't know what's going on there. So we've been out of the gym for a couple weeks, obviously, right, with that going on lockdown, and my elbow just doesn't work anymore. I don't know what's happened to it. I can only move it so far. It's just stopped working. I'm not going to go get it checked because I want to be nowhere near a hospital right now. But it just randomly stopped working. I don't know what's going on. Jarrell doesn't seem to be able to help me with it.
Well, like my thing is just massage it, ice it. Maybe it's also hurts because like we're not using our range of motion as we used to when we used to go to the gym. So it's starting to tighten up, or just getting old,
I think it's old. So random things every year just seem to either stop working, start working, start popping and clicking or breaking. I don't know what's happening, but it hurts either way. Either way, it kind of hurts right now. How's everybody doing out there? That's really what I like to hear. How are things treating you? How are things going? We're trying to balance work with the apocalypse, child care with the apocalypse, everything with the apocalypse. I'd be interested. Again, we'll talk about anything and everything that you want to talk about. You can send us a text at 480-877-0155. You can jump into the comments. We're obviously watching those. And then you can give us a call. That's the fun one, 480-712-5219. Give us a call. We'll have you on the air, and we'll talk about anything that you want to talk about. Even if you just want to say hello, howdy, hi, we'll do that, and then we'll hang up and say see you later. Whatever you want to do, 480-712-5219. Again, if you like it, love it, all that kind of stuff, got to have more of it, share it. That helps us keep this thing going. So one thing that I'll take a look at, I didn't do the normal kind of notes for today's show. I was just going to kind of continue with what we had going on over the past couple of days. I didn't really want to change stuff up too much with that. I just wanted to kind of continue with their kind of, I guess, loose and free kind of no notes kind of show. So we're not really doing on this day in history, unless somebody has a cool on this day in history that you know of that you want to drop in the comments or call in and talk about. I just pulled up the coronavirus map. I think Eli Helbert, I believe you had sent this over to us yesterday or day before. I just pulled that up and letting it load. I wanted to kind of take a look and see where things were at today. I think it's pretty interesting with everything that's going on. It seems like and maybe Jarrell can jump in here, but I got some texts from some friends that at work today, and it seems like this thing probably has a lot higher fatality rate than what we initially thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I've heard projections of upward of 15 to 20% fatality rates. So they're still claiming official numbers of 0 point something, but I've heard something to do with the accounting was pretty wacky when they started looking at that, and I've heard of this going upwards of 15%. So I think it'd be interesting to see what that number actually comes out to be. Arizona, as of today, let me double check, make sure this is today. Yep, as of March 25th, they have conducted a total of 826 tests, and out of those 826 tests, 450 have been positive.
Wow.
So half of all the tests conducted in Arizona have been positive, resulting in 6 deaths so far. That's one since yesterday. Yeah. So that's up 1 since yesterday. California current numbers, total tests, roughly 28,000, roughly 2,100 positive, and 40 deaths. Wow. So California is way low compared to New York, obviously. Washington State, 2,400 positive with 123 deaths.
Wow.
New York is currently, they've administered right around 100,000, just a little over 100,000 tests. Out of those, there have had about 31,000 of those have been positive. And that has been up to 285 deaths in New York. I don't have anything pulled up on a global scale. I'm just kind of looking here state by state on the map to see how that's going. Eli Helbert, we had the first case in Washington County, Virginia today. I'd heard that, man. I'd actually seen that there was a case that had popped up there. That's pretty wild. I don't think there's any hiding from this thing, that's for sure. I can tell you, again, without naming any names here, I can tell you that employers that are testing for this stuff are finding it in their organizations. We're finding positive tests with places that we work, not just normal, not where you'd think it'd be, not just in the hospitals, not just in healthcare. We're finding it in general populations of workers, too. Now, testing positive is one thing, becoming symptomatic is another, and then going to complete this extreme, I guess, is a whole nother thing. I think that's probably one of the more interesting things is that you can be positive, have 0 symptoms, and be spreading this
right
without even knowing that you're doing that. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about that, babe?
Well, yeah. I know the last time I checked the CDC, to know if someone may have the coronavirus, they have to show some certain symptoms that are related to the respiratory system. What we focus on is any temperature greater than 100.4, any sore throats, coughing, shortness of breath. But now we find out that you may not show any of those symptoms. So now they're, as a healthcare provider, they're making us also look into their O2 saturations because they had some COVID cases that were positive but showed no symptoms, but it showed through their O2 saturation, which was low, and they tested out positive. So honestly, right now with the CDC keeps changing, and we really don't, how do I say this? I know our focus was towards the respiratory system, but I don't know, things change daily, and it's crazy, but just stay safe, everybody. Stay away from, my best advice, honestly, is, vitamins don't really help. It's always good to have good hand hygiene and stuff like that, but just stay away from other people. Honestly, just stay away.
That's exactly it, right? I mean, that's exactly it, is staying away from other people. That's the best thing that you can do, is just stay the heck away from other people right now. When we say do things that work, that's stuff that actually works. I think that's probably the best thing to do, is follow the CDC guidelines, distance yourself, wash your hands, do the basic stuff, enjoy your time together. and stay the heck away from other people. I think I think that's probably the best thing that you can do. Let's see. We'll dive into the comments here. If I miss your comments, I apologize. I keep having a little freezing issue going on here with the 1975 MacBook that I'm running off of. This isn't the computer. Like I'd mentioned to a lot of you guys before, a lot of y'all out there, this is not the computer that actually runs this whole thing. Thankfully, this is my very old MacBook that I just look at comments and such on, and it's just not working very good. So I'm seeing comments coming in. Obviously, I've been able to respond to most of them. If I miss you and it takes me a second to get around to you, I apologize, because this thing's clunky. Like I said, fortunately, it's not the one that's the magic maker over here, the one that's actually putting all this stuff on the air, or this would never happen. I guess I didn't crank start this whole thing enough to really really get it going. Yeah, what is going on with you, computer? Jeez, oh jeez, man, oh man. Again, call us 480-712-5219. Send us a text. I got to get some Monster in there before we go too much farther. I got some Monster going here. Got some coffee going here too. Double fist in here. Send us a text, 480-877-0155. Call us at 480-712-5219. Numbers are on the screen. Give us a call. Have that conversation with us. We'd love to have you on the air. Love to have this conversation with you. Give us a call. Here's an interesting topic that I think is something that we definitely have to talk about. The follow-up with this was asking if it was too sensitive to talk about. You can see the bottom part. I'll read the rest of it.
What? Oh.
But have there been any cases in Arizona where the Asian community has been attacked because of the virus? The Asian community is being blamed. Asians are being attacked. Videos are popping up about it. I've seen this. Yeah, I've definitely seen this. I've not heard of any specific cases in Arizona. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm aware of yet. I have not seen any specific cases of that in Arizona. I have seen this kind of going on. Fortunately, I'm hoping at least. I'm hoping that's the kind of exception, not the rule, right? That we're seeing mostly people. I think most people are somewhere not like that. I guess I'm rambling here because I'm trying to get my cameras up. There we go. I think most people don't believe that, right? I think most people understand that that's kind of being xenophobic and being racist is kind of an asshole move. Not kind of, it totally is. There's no other way to put that. I don't have any nice way to say that, but if people attack the Asian community for this, they're pieces of shit.
Yeah. No, I agree.
that's the only thing I could say.
And
anything to add?
Well, like, I understand like where that question's coming from. I guess people, like, whenever there's my thing, not just the COVID thing, is just whenever there is a problem or something happens, everyone wants to point fingers and blame somebody for anything, really. And then just because it originated from China, they're targeting the Asian community. And I just think, like what Sam said, just supporting what you're saying is just, I just think people out there are just racist and just want to point fingers. And
I think those are the few. I mean, honestly, I think those are probably the few. Mm-hmm. It's, as you kind of, I'm scrolling through some of the articles here, and obviously, again, I think some of these are going to be, I think these are the exceptions. I don't think this is the norm, right? And I think you can break those two things apart. I think you can break those two things apart too. We know that the virus, where it originated at, we can say that the Chinese government is shady AF, right? They're shady. They've been squirreling away information on this for God knows how long. God knows what the fatality rates actually look like in China, right? There's some really interesting stuff over there that's happened, or some really interesting stuff that you can see in articles about cell phone usage that's dropped off, and the possibility of the fact of those folks going from using those cell phones to all of a sudden not using those cell phones could potentially mean that they're dead, right? And this is millions of folks that were active one day and not active the next, right? So I think you can definitely, you can break those two things apart. And you can say, look, the Chinese government, they're wacky. They lie. They hide information. It's a big thing. All governments do, right? You can say that without making it about a person's race, right? The Chinese people didn't do this, right? I, it's just no other way to put that. What do you think? Anything else?
No,
to add?
like you pretty much said it. I mean, people are just being people, you know, like they're scared. They don't know where else to go, like who else to look for the answers. All they know what to do is like, which is fast for them is just to blame other people.
Well, it's easy.
So
Blame is always easier.
That's why it is easy. And it's just,
blame is easy. So it's the same problem, right? To me, it's the same problem that we see with everything that's going on right now. You take stupid people and you scare them, right? And nothing good happens. They hoard toilet paper and they get mad at Asian people. That's what stupid people do when they're scared, right? I think that's really what we're seeing. Some more of the texts. My phone doesn't recognize my face when it's in front of the microphone, so I always have to fight with it if you see me kind of doing this stupid thing. It's especially scary if children are involved and they get targeted just because they're Asian, for sure.
yeah.
Right.
And just because like with the COVID thing too, I know it's targeted mostly towards those who are elderly, who have a weak immune system, who have respiratory problems, and of course children, because children are carriers, and targeting children who are Asian would, I don't know.
And that's really where the question is going, is more towards that. It's just a follow up to that question, saying it's especially scary for kids because, stupid, scared people that are upset and again, scared, angry, mad, all that stuff coupled together. And now they're blaming Asian people and they see an Asian kid. That's a really soft, easy target. Those people are the same people that wouldn't stand up to a full grown person. So they probably would pick on a kid, right? They're just not, not great people. So I guess for me, it's really it's that number one, I think that it's probably the exception, not the rule, right? Stupid, scared people are going to use this as the opportunity to be xenophobic assholes, to be racist assholes. They're going to use this as their opportunity to do that stuff. The very few. When we see that, we need to be the voice of reason, and we need to stand up to that and say, stop being xenophobic, racist assholes. I think that's where the majority of us, and we are the majority, right, that aren't going to treat people like that, right? I think we need to stand up to that when we see it, and we need to call BS when we see it. I think that's really the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
So just call people out. When you see that crap going on, call them out. That's the biggest thing you can do. Eli, I hadn't seen the whole glove and homemade mask in their area until today. Had to rant for a bit about it. The person had on nitrile gloves, pumped gas, went in the store, paid, came out, got on their phone, got in their car with the same gloves on. Gotta love cross-contamination. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what we've seen the other day. We've been seeing that quite a bit going on. I mean, it's pretty constant. The homemade masks are pretty hilarious. If you want like a really, really, really good fun time, just go Google respirator funny stuff, I guess. You can see some pretty wild stuff going on right now. Avery's over here joined us. She doesn't understand. She's getting ready to go to timeout again soon because she keeps messing with the cameras on purpose again. She gets mad and starts messing with the cameras.
I'm shaking the table because I'm sick and my arm is on it.
Can you turn that camera just a little bit back to where it was before us? No, not that way. Turn it like this. Yeah, there we go. That might work. I'll have to. Don't mess with it, Avery. Avery. But yeah, how are things going in your neck of the woods? We'd be super interested in hearing how you're doing. From Mike, Isla says hi. You want to say hi?
Say hi to Isla.
Say hi.
Hi.
There we go. She said hi. How are things in your neck of the woods? Hope everything is going well. Ron Roberts, she's bored. Poor girl. Yeah, she is definitely bored. She held out for just a few minutes.
She did pretty good.
She's losing. She's losing her patience with this whole thing. This is the whole work from home. Bring your kids to work. Bring your kids to everything right now. She's struggling a little bit with that. She's done good for the first week or so of isolation, and it's just now getting to where it's getting interesting. We brought tons of stuff, and I guess that tons of stuff just wasn't quite enough wasn't quite enough interesting to make it past. Eli Helbert, you might as well duct tape a dirty napkin to your face, same as a homemade mask. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you might as well just take like a dirty sock and tie it around your face and pretend like it actually does something. Because, again, that's kind of sort of what all that, what those homemade things do. They really don't do a lot. Again, comment, text us, 480-877-0155. Call us, 480-712-5219. We'd love to have your call. We would love to have you on the air. We would love to have your text. Thank you for all your comments and texts so far. We hope everything's going well for you out there. As we've continued to share, things are going pretty good for us here. We don't have a bunch to complain about. Again, we are joined by the one, the only, Jarrell Belongi, RN.
Hola.
If you would like. So, okay, she's shown back up with bracelets, zip ties, and some screw-in hooks.
She's getting ready for the pandemic.
I don't know what's about to happen, but it's probably nothing really, really good. Again, text us your questions. We have a registered nurse hanging out with us. If you want to talk COVID-19, that's what we're doing. We're hanging out. We're taking questions. We're doing whatever. We're talking about whatever you want to talk about. I think that's the funnest part about this entire thing, is that we get to have these conversations right now that we might not have had the opportunity to have in the past. With everything that's going on out there, as I shared with you, I've continued to do these things just about daily, just because I think it's good for us right now. I think it's good for us all to come together and get to have these conversations and just connect and just do this to be normal people, or feel like normal people for just a few minutes out of the day. Again, I keep these things running as long as we feel like it, I guess. That's really it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, this is more for us, I guess, than it is for you. But I'm having fun, at least. This is what's keeping me sane. I think that's the only reason why I'm doing these things every day, is just to stay sane. I think I think that's it. Rhonda Robertson, I have had nurses say that they have been told to wear homemade masks. I do not see how they can protect, and they can't. I mean, that is it. I mean, they can't protect. I think we're in a wild time.
Like, you can't really wear homemade masks. It's not going to help. I mean, the best thing is just to quarantine yourself.
Yeah. Well, this is the healthcare providers that have been told to wear homemade masks, and I think that's probably the bigger fear. And I mean, that is the bigger fear, right? I mean, the bigger fear right now is that we overload the hospitals. The hospitals get outside of their capacity for what they can deal with.
Right.
And part of that capacity is the amount of PPE that you have at any given time. Hospitals, that's here comes a little bit of a rant, I guess. That's the unfortunate part about where society is at. Over the past little bit, organizations have really gone down this path of run as lean as you possibly can, cut it to the bone, right? And hospitals aren't any different than that, right? Hospitals have gotten to the point to where they are so lean that you maybe have, and Jarrell can jump in if I'm wrong, you might have a few weeks, maybe a month worth of supplies on certain things, sometimes less than that. Sometimes it might even be day to day on the certain supplies because of costs, right?
Right.
Because of costs. So hospitals are really balanced, just like most companies are, to just run for the day to day. They're not prepared for something like this. Then all of a sudden something like this happens, and we go, "Oh, we never thought that this would actually happen." Right? It's kind of like the back when what was the hurricane that hit Puerto Rico?
Katrina.
No, don't say Katrina. People make fun of you saying Katrina.
I'm not good with history or current events.
Don't say Katrina. Please don't say Katrina. Whichever one hit Puerto Rico this more recently, right? I had a lot of friends go down there and actually help do some of the rebuild and all that kind of stuff. But that was the one place in the world that manufactured saline bags. The one place. And they were like, "Oh, we never thought it'd actually get hit with a hurricane. It's an island in the middle of the ocean." Right? How stupid are we, right? It's the same problem that we run into in hospitals, right? We think, well, everything's fine. This will never happen to us. Why do we need capacity for something like that might only happen every couple of 100 years, right? So we just don't. We just run lean. We run to the bone. and then all of a sudden something like this happens, and then I'll get off my rant there. But that's the fear, right? Is that we overload the hospitals to the point that they can't handle cases, not only of COVID-19. That's probably the smaller fear, right? It's everything else on top of that, right? It's everything else on top of that. So, what do you think, Drew? I mean, what's the prognosis? How do you feel about the whole PPE situation, supply situation in general?
Well, in general, yeah, like just to top off what you said, like working in hospitals and such when we talk about supplies, I'm sure every major hospital has like a pandemic plan, and they do have some emergency supplies just in case, but I don't think they were prepared as much. I think that the U.S. like healthcare environment, we're like in a comfortable bubble that we think that nothing major is going to happen. So then we live day to day with supplies. We overuse supplies, even though we don't need it. We just use it and then just discard it. And now that we actually do need it, we do have limited resources, and it is crazy to think that's in the kind of environment that we do live in. But honestly, after this whole COVID and hoping that it does subside soon, I really do hope that the U.S. like healthcare facilities and the way we do things, like we continue it this way, that we are very shady with our materials or supplies, that we actually do use them only when we do really need them. So that's my spiel on that.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think that's one piece we have to say right now, right, that we're after what has happened, we're nothing's ever going to be the same.
Mm-mm.
I think we have to admit that right now, that nothing is ever going to be the same, and preparedness is probably a really good thing, right? Especially with stuff like this. It blows my mind. When I heard the thing about the saline bags in Puerto Rico, the one factory in the world that produces saline bags was on an island in the middle of the ocean that's in prime hurricane path. You're just kind of going after the fact, going, what the heck? Really? We had no backup plan for that. So we're just going to be short those for 3 months, right?
Yeah, but I'm
got
thinking
what you got for 3 months.
With the whole pandemic that's happening now, like I think it is a good wake-up call, because not just for our facility, but I'm hearing from other like major hospitals, we are actually planning on a whole year supply, like once hopefully this whole pandemic does subside or something. But it is a wake-up call, and it is crazy.
It seems like, especially when it comes to stuff like respirators, like why not? Right? Why not? Why couldn't we squirrel away some extra respirators? Why couldn't we hang on to stuff? It just doesn't make any sense why we wouldn't hang on to that stuff. I don't know. It just blows my mind that we don't have that kind of stuff hanging around. And again, I think that's some of the bigger conversation too. It's just the amount of waste. I don't think you realize how much stuff you waste until you kind of wake up to this and go, man, oh man, like we waste a bunch of food. We waste a bunch of this stuff. We waste a bunch of that. We use 2 of these, 2 paper plates instead of 1. What the heck, right? Just because I like it a little extra sturdy. Right?
But yeah, that's what I was saying, like hopefully after this, it just really opens the eyes of everybody in America, or even just around the world, just to, like be thankful and grateful for what you have, and just for future preference, be mindful and creative whenever you have to use supplies. And it's just, I don't know, we've been too cushioned, I guess. I don't know.
I think that is a big part of it. We're spoiled. I mean, we can let's just admit that right now, that we're spoiled. Eli Halbert, our 3M rep, came by today and took a good deal of our respirators and filters for them to redistribute to healthcare providers. I think that's a cool thing that's going on too. There's PPE donation. I've seen a lot of PPE donation that's been happening lately, and that's pretty cool. I think that's really cool to see that happening. I've seen that happen quite a bit over the past little bit, at least here in the Phoenix area, of those certain PPE being donated, especially respirators. Respirators seem to be the big thing that's in need. As Rhonda had commented here just a second ago, in the hospitals, that's where she had heard from her friends that are nurses, I believe, that they're being advised to basically make makeshift masks.
That's crazy.
In hospitals, and I believe that's more northern. That should be at more northern Arizona, and that's probably, we don't think about that as much. In our area, in the greater Phoenix area, things are probably a little bit easier, I would assume. Then you get to more rural hospitals in the same area, it's probably a little worse, right?
Yeah,
I would think.
I agree, but I guess it just varies from state to state with having like a face mask. Because from what I'm hearing here in Arizona, is some of the major hospitals are actually escorting nurses out of the facility if they are seen wearing a face mask, if they are not positive for COVID or anything like that. Because we're at that point where the supplies are that critical. But yeah, but that's crazy. I don't know how you make a homemade face mask.
You can, but it just doesn't do anything. So it would give you the illusion of safety, basically, is what would happen. It would give you the illusion that you're being protected. If you've got a dance, you've got a dance party going on behind you, you don't realize it. But yeah, it's probably one of those things where it's a, hey, take a look at this, look at me, and she just fell down because she's wearing high heels. It's probably one of those things where it's more of like, look at this, we have something on our face, everybody see we're doing something's protecting us, but it's really not. So that's the scarier part, I think, is that. So yeah, I think that's not something that I've thought about. So that's a really interesting point, Rhonda, that you kind of drive us to there, is that I wonder how our more rural hospitals are handling this stuff. Right. I think about, kind of more in that neck of the woods. I know Rhonda from my time in northern Arizona. And I think more about that, right? How are things going at like the small community hospital that's in Winslow, right? Not very big hospital, right? How are things going in these smaller hospitals that God knows, right? How things are going. We've got Avery that's loading stuff up on the table now for some reason. But yeah, very, very, very interesting things to think about. Speaking of which, let's take a look. There's I lost my connection. Oh no. Let's see if I can get this thing to work. Let's take a look at the beautiful. There it is. Can you see it? Does everybody see it with me? There's the beautiful downtown Flagstaff, Arizona. They're on a live stream behind us. Gerald can't see it. It's behind him. But there's a beautiful, speaking of northern Arizona, there's the beautiful Flagstaff, Arizona. Looking beautiful. Let's switch over and take a look at downtown Phoenix. There's downtown Phoenix, Arizona. I can't say the sunny and the beautiful right now. Take a look at that. It is kind of gloomy. It's been gloomy right now. It's been kind of gloomy, which I kind of like it. We enjoy this kind of weather. We had about a solid week of rain last week? It wasn't last week. It was a couple weeks ago.
I enjoyed the rain.
And it was awesome. I mean, it rained for like a week straight. For those of you that haven't frequented it out here and don't understand what I'm talking about, well, you do know what I'm talking about. Let me put it that way. We don't have East Coast style rain. So folks from the East Coast that live here, when we have rain like that, finally, we're like, holy crap, it's like East Coast rain. It like settles in and it stayed for a week. That's rare for us, right? We usually get quick rain, gone, dry. It's humid for about a half second, and then it's back to being dry. So we're enjoying a lot of this weather. There's the beautiful downtown not really downtown. This is their traffic cams. They're live traffic cams across Arizona. I've got them on auto scroll. I don't have the map pulled up for you to take a look at. Things are looking pretty good out there. That's the one thing that I will say, is that there's no traffic.
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
How are things in your city right now? For all the folks that get to hear this on the podcast, I'm sorry, you're not getting all these beautiful visuals. So hopefully, if you're tuning into this on the podcast later on, you're hanging out with us still while we look at all these pretty pictures of the of Phoenix traffic. Things are looking pretty clear here. And they've just been absolutely clear because there's just nobody out. So I will say that's probably the one really good thing about everything that's going on here. For those folks that are tuning in kind of live, for my Arizona peeps, here's our Arizona fam. Here's a live look at your traffic. Everything's looking super green out there right now. There's nothing bad. I've heard tell that even in LA it's kind of light right now, which is it seems pretty wild to think that it might be a little light going on out there. So hopefully, again, silver lining, hopefully things are looking good for you out there. Again, I know that it's hard to ask and say, how's everybody doing? I know you're not doing great. Nobody can say they're doing great right now. If anyone said they were doing great, they'd be lying to you, right? I think everybody's a little worried, a little scared. Everyone's a little worried, a little scared. I apologize if I jump up and down. I'm trying to fix mics. Avery keeps jacking with her with our mics and our stuff here. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if we can get you back. There we go. We're back. But I hope everybody's doing good. I'd be really interested in hearing from you. Give us a call, 480-712-5219. Send us a text, 480-877-0155. We'd love to have you call in. Let us know how things are going in your neck of the woods. Hopefully you're doing good. Anything wild and wacky and crazy you're seeing out there, we would love to hear about it. We would love to hear your questions. We would just love to hear from you and have that conversation with you. Hopefully things are going good. Again, with us, things are going great. Mm-hmm. Nothing really to complain about. I brought in some stuff for show and tell again today. Can you reach me there?
This?
The can, yeah. So Jarrell got this as a present, but this is going to come in real handy.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on. I don't know if everyone can see
it's
this right
delicious.
here. This is survival food at its best. See that right there? That's all you really need to get through the apocalypse. There's a few things you need. You need that, and sorry, podcast people, I'll describe everything in just a second. You need that, and you need this, right? So again, I'm holding up the full face P100 respirator, and this can right here. This is survival food at its greatest. Rose pork brains.
Yum.
Pork brains with milk gravy.
Yum. That sounds delicious.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. How close to death's doorstep from starvation do you have to be before you crack this bad boy open?
Me?
I've got to be pretty damn close.
I'm
not gonna no brainer. I'm not just gonna crack this can when I get a little hungry, when I get a little rumble in the tummy. It's gonna be like a crawling on the ground, can't walk from starvation before I crack this can open. But I seen that. Joe had got that as a gag gift back over at Christmas, and I wanted to share that with everybody.
See, I saved it for this moment.
Again, for our podcast peeps out there, this episode, these live streams get uploaded to the podcast. Let me plug that a little bit before we go too much further too. Make sure you head over to the Hop Nerd Podcast. You can find it anywhere that you find podcasts. I'm a podcast on my iPhone kind of guy, or a Spotify guy. That's what I like to use. But you can find it pretty much in any podcatcher that you use. Make sure you tune in. We have these things. I'll take this audio only, obviously, and upload it to the podcast too as a bonus. So if you're tuning in, following along with the podcast, you'll get this too. You get 3 episodes every week on top of that, which is kind of neat, and bonus stuff that we throw in there every now and again. So if you're not following the Hop Nerd Podcast, please follow along with that. We would greatly appreciate it. It's just the Hop Nerd. It's a fun time. We have a blast with it. So please follow along there anywhere that you find podcasts. Again, we're going to keep going for just a little bit longer. Give us a call, 480-712-5219. Shoot us a text, 480-877-0155. We love having this conversation with you. It is our favorite part of the day. It's awesome for me because I get to say us, because I have my honey, my man here, hanging out with us for the rest of the afternoon.
Hello.
He just got off work doing healthcare stuff, being a director of nursing, being all cool and stuff, doing all that kind of stuff, hanging out. So if you got questions for him, let us know. We would love to hear from you there. If you have questions for me, let us know. If you have a question for Avery, other than how bored she is right now, having to sit through our live streams, we would love to hear from you. If you want to just call in and have fun with us, you can do that too. 5219, 480-712-5219. You can text 480-877-0155. That's why I keep browsing at my phone to check and see how things are going there. We can flip over here. You can take a look at Avery being rude
Come
over
here.
here.
Say hi, everybody. No, look at the camera.
Don't. She would rather look at herself than the camera. That's me too. But you look at the camera and wave. Say hi. Say hi, everybody. Avery's doing good. Are you having fun with the apocalypse? We're having fun. She's like, what's the apocalypse? I think that's a really good conversation to have too. So, I apologize if you get some of the like wobble camera, because that's Avery she thinks it's fun to make everyone think they're in an earthquake. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I will do it.
But I think that's a really good conversation to have too. For those of you out there that have kids, how are you sharing this information with your kids?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a really interesting conversation to have. Is how are you sharing this information with your kids? I know we're pretty straight up and honest, as honest as we can be, obviously with a 5-year-old, right? But we pretty much just
Told her.
we just talk straight, right? I mean, I'm not in the business of lying to my kids. You know, I just throw it out there. We throw it out there, and we explain it. On kind of both ways. We explained it kind of
It was
from
pretty
adult style
pretty
to
blunt with it.
Yeah, I think
Like
that's
before
probably,
it got too heavy with this COVID thing, like once it started, we just told Avery about the virus that's going around and just to do the simple things. That's all that really matters. And then we watch her, of course, since children are carriers. But she's been with us at home, so yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that I would be interested. How are you sharing this news with your kids? I think it's important that we have those conversations. You know, we think about our own kind of mental well-being, but this is a scary time for kids right now too. I think, right? I think it is a scary time for kids, and I think I don't know. For me, I think that you get over that fear by just being honest. Me and Avery talked about this in the car on the way over here. Right? We were actually talking about that. Darrell met us here because he was coming from work. We were coming over a little early. We've been trying to get some other stuff, you know, working on some other stuff here at the luxurious Hop Nerd Studios, right? But so we got here a little early. But yeah, we talked about it on the way over here because we drive past the VA. I've shared that we drive past the VA on the way over here, and they've got all the tents set up. And we drove past today, and there's like a bunch of cops outside. And I mean, the VA looked slammed when we came by today. So I don't know what was going on over there. There was lots of cars out front, probably normal stuff. But again, you take normal stuff, you mix it up with this, and now the hospital's outside of their capacity. So, but that prompted our conversation on the way over here. So I'd be interested in that. Let us know. How are you sharing this information with your kids? 480-712-5219. Again, give us a call or shoot us a text to our text number, or jump in the comments. I would love to hear your stories on that. How are things going with work? How are things going in your local communities? How are things looking in the grocery store? How are you feeling? How are you holding up? I think that's probably, again, that's why we're doing this thing. We've been doing this. The normal Hop Nerd live show is every Wednesday. I can hear insert plug here. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Every Friday we have the late show at 8 p.m. But I've been doing this thing every single day, at least for a little bit, and we've been going for almost two hours every time, just daily, just because I know I'm doing some of it for my own mental well-being. Just I'm not at work. Like, it's weird, right? I like to talk to people. It's weird. Like, I like to connect with people. I like my normal kind of.
He just misses me.
Yeah, exactly. So me and Avery come here and live stream. That's what we've been doing. So again, how are you handling this stuff? How are you preparing in case things get a little worse? I think that's a good conversation to have too. I know for us, we went to Walmart. We bought some stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So the weird part, I think this is crazy, but the weird part for me is you go to Walmart and the camping aisle is still pretty full.
Yeah.
Nobody's bought like any of the camping stuff, and I'm like,
that was our first aisle we went to too.
Like freaking idiots! Like, you're gonna go buy the pallet of Cheetos and toilet paper, and you're not gonna buy anything else. Like, the whole camping aisle was packed full of anything you would ever want. So it was pretty wild to see that, like, sleeping bags, tents, kind of normal stuff, but then everything else, all the camp stoves were there, tons of camp stoves, tons of fuel for those little propane canisters, tons of all kinds of stuff that comes in really handy when you don't have electricity, you need to cook, you need to start a fire, all the little like camp food, like freeze dried,
Freezer.
freeze dried. Yeah, there we go. Freeze dried. I lost my English for a second. Freeze dried foods. All that stuff was still there. All the stuff to be able to cook on open fire was still there. All the fire starters were still there. All the oil lamps, all that stuff was still there. But people bought all the toilet paper. Again, I can't wrap my head around that. And I don't know. I guess I'm just a redneck at heart. Like, I guess I'm just a redneck. Eli Hilbert said I'm the crazy that bought ammo. No, so that's the crazy part too. So I was digging in the closet the other day, just digging out some kind of squirreled away ammunition that I kind of keep. And same thing at Walmart. As you kind of walked around the ammo counter at Walmart, it was still pretty full. Like it was.
Well, I think Arizona's ready. Everyone has a gun and they already have ammo. So.
Well, yeah, and again, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think it's just that. Again, it seems like the stuff that hits me when I go, okay, I might have to survive for a while without normal stuff. I might have to survive kind of all, natural, right? I might have to go old school in survival. The last thing I think is toilet papers and Cheetos.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Or Twinkies, too.
That's the last thing that would enter my mind if I'm thinking, okay, I need to survive. We might not have water or electricity. What do I need? It's not toilet paper, and it's not Cheetos.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking like, okay, can we start fire? Can we purify water? Can we get what food will last? So I need some. I was joking around the other day, and I'm like, listen, I've got this little like Plinker AR-1522, which is a fun little, just Plinker gun. But that thing would be phenomenal for hunting, urban hunting, if you need to. And I'm thinking, I was talking to somebody the other day, like, well, what do? You're in a city and you need meat, and if it's like if it goes like full bore apocalyptic type of stuff, I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm like, there's enough domesticated animals in Phoenix, and I have enough of 22 ammunition that we can eat for a very long time on dogs and cats if we have to. I just need some rice to go with that cat. I mean, some rice to go with those dogs.
Gross.
I think we'll live for a very long time if we need to. But it's crazy because people don't think about that side of things. Again, it's prepper light. I guess preppers light. It's kind of what they do. They're more worried about continuation of comfort, I think, than they are about survival. Kind of over the next little bit. I don't think people have wrapped their minds around that to that point yet. Of this might be, we might have to think about actually bare bones surviving for a while if things do get much worse. So, again, I'd be interested. How are things going for you? What are you doing to survive in case you need to? I think we're still in a thriving position right now. I think we had mentioned it earlier that a lot of times I think we're just spoiled, right? I think we're really just spoiled. This is the norm for most places outside of the first world, right? You don't just get to go to the store and have a selection, right? I mean, you just don't, right? You go to other parts of the world, and you don't just get like 57 different types of webcams. And I say webcams just because that's what I was on the hunt for of the past little bit. And can't find one, right? You have to order it and you have to wait a few weeks to get it. That's pretty much the norm everywhere else, right? Nicole Helbert, oh no, Sam, not the cats. I have no beef with the cats. The cats are safe as long as we've got plenty of fresh meat until when stuff gets real.
Yeah.
If it gets real, I don't know. All bets are off the table. That'll be the last resort.
We'll go down that road.
Well, yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But we'll figure that out. I don't know. Unfortunately we don't quite have the at least inside of Phoenix, we don't really have the the population of other animals. We got Avery coming in to make some comments here. How are you doing, Avery?
I was going to tell something to you.
Uh-oh, what are you going to tell to me?
You know how it's always hot in here?
Uh-huh.
Your computer made a blown hot air.
I know.
Or computer, so
That's
I know
how-
that's what it's wrong.
I know. Computers blow hot air, don't they?
That one, that's...
That's it? Okay.
No, I agree. So Avery's actually exactly right. A lot of this equipment blows a lot of hot air. Our lighting and stuff is LED. But unfortunately, even some of this stuff gets a little warm. It's not hot, but it's warm. The computers are blowing a lot of warm air. All the monitors going, all the other stuff going, lot of warm air. And then unfortunately, the air conditioner is not working, right? We're waiting on that. We're waiting on that to get fixed and see how that goes. Eli Helbert, could you not use a DSLR and route it via HDMI to your stream? So I can, yeah, for sure. So that's ultimately the goal. I actually had, it's not laying over here. I've had a couple. I've had a couple old. So I've got a DSLR, an old one. I had an old Nikon D3100 laying around over there, and I've also got a Nikon J1 that I've got laying around, a mirrorless J1. And both of which are okay. I like them. I've had them. They're really old. I've had them forever. And I say really old, in that world, they're old. That's ultimately the plan, at some point to beef things up a little bit. The problem is that, so those cameras, at least their versions of them, you can't get a clean HDMI out. And by clean HDMI out, Eli knows what I'm talking about. Other folks out there might not. You can't get all that stuff when you look into your camera and you see like the viewfinder and you see all this stuff on the screen, like the numbers and your battery and all that stuff. You can't get that off of those screens, at least on those two cameras that I currently own. At some point, I'm probably going to switch over to going with like some form of handy cams or something like that. You know what I mean? Like a small video camera. You think normal video camera? I've seen some folks that live stream with those. Same concept, running HDMI out. You go HDMI out, you route it through. You buy basically, there's these cool little converters, right, that you can convert them through that straight into USB. It works great. But it's just getting the cameras that have clean HDMI out. So that's probably the next step, to be honest with you, Eli. I'm going to keep running the webcams for a little while. I'm not super pleased with them. I don't, I'm a nerd. We're just getting to the point of starting to step up kind of the live stream game a little bit. And that'll probably be the next step. We're going to go a little bit bigger with lighting. We're going to keep working on the lighting a little bit, and we're going to up the video quality a little bit at some point. And again, I think you're thinking the exact way that we're thinking, except for the fact that we're probably not going to go DSLR. We're probably just going to run some high def HD handy cams, 4K type of stuff, and just one by one. That's probably what you're going to see over the coming months, is one by one, as I can afford to drop the cash on them. We're going to start updating the cameras. So, but yep, that's the goal. So yep, exactly. I've got two. That's part of the reason why Avery and I got here earlier today. I actually moved the stuff, or I would show it to you on the camera. We got here to fiddle around with the phone system so we could get the phone in and get it recording. So we got to test that and play with that a little bit. So if you'd like to call us, you can, 480-712-5219. That would be a blast. And then we were actually playing around with that, with the J1, actually messing with it, trying to see if we could get a clean HDMI out. But unfortunately, we can't. And on the D3100, same thing. Just can't get a clean HDMI out on it. So soon, very, very, very soon, we will do that. And Eli says, "Sorry, camera guy coming out on me." Laugh out loud. Yep. I get it. Jarrell definitely gets it. He's been living with me doing this stuff since he didn't realize the level of full nerdiness, I don't think, when it comes to audio, video stuff.
I'm not very techie.
I don't think this is what he signed up for when he got into this relationship.
I support him, and I've been very patient.
He likes it.
It's all right.
He's having fun with it. He likes it. Avery's now taking everything off the shelves and slowly putting it on the desk. So the life of Avery here. She's bringing over all the letters so she can start showing the letters, I guess, to everyone.
For my dad's name.
Yes. What's an S?
For my name.
An A for your name.
And a J for Jarrell's name.
And a J for Jarrell's name. Look at that. Isn't that cool? We've got all of our letters there. They're usually hanging out on the shelf behind us, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just come out.
Look at that. They're glittery, huh? Those are pretty cool. Again, for those that are on the podcast, that I can describe to you the scene that we're seeing here. We've got Avery here. She's fetched all the letters that we had on our shelf that are our initials, and she's brought them and she's showing them, kind of showing and telling to the camera. So she's got a glittery J in one hand. She's picked up an A, and she's got an S. So pretty cool stuff. How are you handling? How are you doing with your kids while you're working from home? For those of you out there that are working from home, I'd be interested. For those of you that are not working from home, I'd be very interested in what childcare looks like right now. Fortunately for me, I've got to stay and spend time with Avery. I've got to work from home. That's been pretty great. Again, I've got to work from home. That's been amazing. There's a lot of really great employers out there that are continuing to do that. So I think that's pretty cool stuff. But for those folks out there that don't have that opportunity, how's that going for you? Nicole Helbert, we got the ducks. This is a reference back to me talking about the domesticated animal cookbook.
Oh, gosh.
Ducks are delicious, so let's just start
I do like
there.
ducks. Ducks are really good.
Duck is...
I do not.
Avery will sit here and say that she does not like duck. She ate duck.
Yeah, I'll say it's not duck, but it'll be duck.
Eat duck.
She doesn't realize that it was duck, but she ate duck.
You know what she ate last night?
We got the ducks. We got the ducks at Hardee's. Yep, exactly. So, we've got some ducks hanging out around here too. So I'm not opposed to that. You go to some of the parks. I'm just thinking about something I could snipe from the window though. We got lots of pigeons, lots of ducks. We got some ponds here too. Actually, we started doing a little bit of. Again, it's my inner redneck. Right here's my inner redneck coming out. But we started doing that. We started going and doing some fishing, not hunting ducks in the pond. Let me restart here. We started going and fishing in the park ponds, and we actually had a lot of fun with it. I wouldn't want to. I don't think I would. Again, I wouldn't eat anything other unless it was absolute necessity. But there's fish there.
Yeah.
There's ducks. There's stuff to eat. You find stuff to eat when you need to. Again, how are you doing? How are you planning on surviving for the long haul if you have to? Are you going to eat the cat? Are you going to hunt the ducks? What's going on out there? What's going on in your neck of the woods? We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, 480-712-5219. This is the Hop Nerd live stream, the Hop Nerd live show. We're going to keep doing this thing. We're having fun. We're coming to you every single day. Again, I think it's for my sanity, for everyone, hopefully a little bit for everyone else's. Hopefully everyone's doing well out there. We're not getting to do this in person right now. That's a lot of what we were talking about yesterday. Avery and I were basically saying that's what we missed, is just the normal kind of stuff. The normal kind of going to the museum, the normal going to the fun stuff. Like they just opened a Great Wolf Lodge. And it's closed now, right? Exactly. There's a Great Wolf Lodge right around the corner from us, and it's closed. So that's the kind of stuff that we're missing right now that we would like to go do, but unfortunately, it's just not the time. What are you missing? I know I've had a couple people send texts and send comments and stuff and just say that they're missing just normal life stuff, and I think that's us too. I think we're just missing the normal life things, just being able to get a steak at the grocery store, just being able to go and hang out and do normal kind of stuff. What do you miss, Avery? She misses Great Wolf Lodge. She hasn't got to go to this one, but she misses it. What do you miss, babe?
I don't know. Just being out. Doing whatever we wanted. Going to the gym, honestly. Getting a little chunky here.
Well, we've not had the.
I miss the barber shop. I need a haircut. The what?
They're in the cup over there.
What do you miss, babe?
Avery's got to jump in and ask where markers and all that stuff's at. I think I missed the gym. That's probably one of the bigger things. It's the normal stuff. It's honestly, it's that. It's you're exactly right. Stuff like that. I think everyone kind of hit kind of the same stuff for me. Is I miss just normal life stuff. I miss the routine. We're very, very routine driven people. We're fun and sporadic and do all that kind of stuff too. Don't get me wrong. Let me fix this camera real quick. Sorry about that. Again, life with a 5-year-old that's bored. But yeah, we're pretty. I'm super routine driven, so I miss just normal stuff. I miss going to the gym. I miss normal days, like normal work, like going to work, doing that kind of normal stuff. So getting up early, going to work, doing that stuff, going to the gym, coming home, hanging out, going to the grocery store, going wandering around the mall, taking Avery to do fun stuff, general things like that. That's the stuff that I miss. I just miss that kind of like normalcy that we usually have. I think that's probably the big thing for me. And the gym is probably a huge part of that. I miss just like our normal diet food, like kind of. I think that's a big thing for me too. Like just it's weird going and not being able to buy like the stuff that we want to buy. It's strange. Shoot us a text 480-877-0155. Hope you're doing well out there. We're doing pretty good in this part of the woods. Phoenix is doing okay. Nothing too crazy at the moment. We're not on any type of like extreme lockdown or anything like that. Things are still treating us pretty well. I was going to pull up and see what's going on in the news. Let's see if anything cool's going on out there. I don't know how things are going. I haven't even looked, to be honest with you. I've kind of avoided the news a little bit just with everything that's been going on. It's kind of sad. I just don't really look at it. Record $2 trillion stimulus risks falling short of full relief. New York reaches a breaking point with Trump. Costco offers employees a pay hike with a catch. I think it's interesting how employers are responding to a lot of this stuff. I think that's probably a big piece. I think it's very interesting how employers are responding to this. I've seen Whole Foods offering up some serious cash to their employers who are going to be working overtime, increased wages. On top of the increased wages, also going and doing some pretty interesting stuff with their overtime, making them double time, right, as they were doing overtime. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It looks like Costco is going to be doing something here too. It says the chain CEO sent out a memo to all of the employees, which reads in part, in recognition of your hard work during this unprecedented time, all full-time, part-time, and limited part-time hourly Costco employees in the U.S. and Puerto Rico will receive an additional $2 per hour for hours worked during the 5 weeks of March 2nd through April 5th, 2020. Sounds great, and God knows these employees are a lifeline for untold thousands of people who get food and vital supplies at the mega store. Here's the catch. The additional compensation will be paid back in a lump sum on your April 17th paycheck.
Oh.
Wow. Or will be paid in a lump sum. So, they don't have to pay it back, but they don't get it until the 17th. So that's kind of not good, it seems like, with everything that's going on right now. Because that's the struggle right now, right? I think a lot of people are worried, and rightfully so. Not all employers are awesome, right? You end up in situations to where they're basically sent home without pay, and then we're going, what do we do now, right? What do we do now? And I've seen some pretty interesting stuff. I think even even your folks that hold your car note, sent you things, said that they were deferring car payments for a while. I've heard of people deferring rent. Just saying, hey, don't worry about it right now. You can pay us back later. It's a tough time. We've seen quite a bit of stuff like that going on, which is pretty interesting. So it's interesting. What are you seeing out there in your neck of the woods? How are things treating you? How are things going with childcare, with bills, with work, with everything? What's your normal look like right now? I think that's probably a really interesting conversation to have too. Give us a call, 480-712-5219. You can also text us at 480-877-0155. 13 deaths in a day, an apocalyptic coronavirus surge at a New York City hospital. That seems pretty interesting. Several hours on Tuesday, Dr. Ashley Bray performed chest compressions in Elmhurst Hospital on a woman in her 80s, a man in his 60s, and a 38-year-old who reminded the doctor of her fiance. All had tested positive for coronavirus and had gone into cardiac arrest. All eventually died. Elmhurst, a 545-bed public hospital in Queens, has begun transferring patients not suffering from coronavirus to other hospitals as it moves towards becoming dedicated entirely to the outbreak. Doctors and nurses have struggled to make do with a few dozen ventilators. Calls over the loudspeaker of Team 700, the code for when a patient is on the verge of death, come several times a shift. Some have died inside the emergency room while waiting for a bed. A refrigerated truck has been stationed outside to hold the bodies of the dead. Over the past 24 hours, New York City's public hospital system said in a statement, 13 people at Elmhurst have died. It's apocalyptic, says Dr. Bray, 27, a general medicine resident at the hospital. That's pretty wild.
That's crazy.
That's pretty wild to see. So 13 deaths, one hospital within the day.
One a day.
That's pretty wild. On the capacity side of that, things, I don't mean to get too morbid, but that is something that we do have to think about, right? I mean, how do you house the dead in that situation as you have increased fatalities from this thing? Refrigerator truck probably works pretty good. That's about it. Most hospitals aren't set up to handle that. I know city morgues aren't set up to handle that. I think back to rural hospitals, the morgue might have one or two drawers in it. So what do you do, right? What do you do? So, I mean, I thought that's a piece I have not thought about until reading that in that article. Of what do you do on the backside of that, right? Somebody does not make it from this. That's lots of deaths happening right now from this. That's pretty wild. About 13 deaths, one day, one hospital in New York City. That is insane. Fortunately, most of our areas have not seen that kind of stuff going on right now. So most of us have not seen that kind of stuff happening in our areas. Again, it looks like Arizona has had 6 deaths as of today. 450 positive folks. California, 2,100 positive folks with 40 deaths. Washington State, 2,400 positive with 123 deaths. New York City, 1,838. So, excuse me, I'm on the wrong one. Oh, there we go. New York, 30,811 positive with 285 deaths. Neighboring New Jersey, 4,400 positive with 62 deaths. And again, it keeps going on. Let's look at Florida. Florida has had 22 deaths. Texas has had 12. Colorado has had 11. Kansas has had 3. Oklahoma has had 5. North Dakota bringing it in at a 0.
Uh-huh.
South Dakota bringing it in at a 1. Nebraska bringing it in at a 0. Kansas bringing it in at a 3. Those mid-states, very, very sparsely populated is the biggest reason with that, right? North Dakota has had 0 deaths because it's North Dakota. Just remember that. It's nothing special going on there. I'm serious. Don't run to North Dakota. There's like 6 people that live in North Dakota. New Mexico has had 1 death, right? And they've had 100 positive folks. Again, very sparsely populated states, though. In these dense population centers is usually where we're seeing a lot of this stuff happening. And that's what you're seeing happening in Arizona, I would assume, without looking at a detailed map of the counties. Most of these counties that have had cases have been Maricopa, which is the county that houses Phoenix. Again, the more densely populated areas, stuff spreads easier in those situations. Your nearest neighbors are, I don't know what the population density is in Phoenix, but there's quite a few people that kind of live stacked on top of each other, as with any other city, which I think is probably one of the bigger reasons there. Ford partners with GE 3M to begin manufacturing protective equipment and ventilators. Thanks for sending this over, Eli. Key points. Let's just browse those really quick. Ford announced it will partner with 3M and GE Healthcare to begin producing face masks and ventilators. Ford will work with 3M to manufacture a newly designed respirator and boost production of 3M's existing electric air purifying respirators. Ford and GE Healthcare will begin manufacturing a simplified version of GE Healthcare's existing ventilator design. I think that's pretty super awesome.
That is pretty cool.
And I think that's going to be where we see a lot of stuff happen, amazing things happen, is from industry. I think industry is going to step up and really take the lead on this thing. What do you think?
I think that's what we honestly need right now, just for the community to reach out and actually help those in need rather than keeping everything to yourselves and stocking up. But I mean, I give them kudos. That's actually really amazing.
Yeah, and I think we'll continue to see that happen. I think we'll continue to see industry provide. I think that's what you're going to see happen. Industry will provide. If you haven't figured it out, the government they just bumble their way through everything. They always make things worse. So it's Ford's going to step up and make a ventilator and fix the problem, right? While our government continues to squander resources, Ford's going to fix the problem. GE is going to fix the problem. I'd seen where Elon Musk was actually offering to start manufacturing stuff to ventilators, to redesign and manufacture ventilators. Again, the free market's going to step up. I think is what you're going to see happen, is to help produce this stuff and help fix that problem, help curb that gap. I think it'll be interesting to see where all that goes. It's pretty cool that Ford, of all people, is jumping in to do that. That's kind of neat. How many? What's it look like, babe? I mean, in hospitals like that, I'd never thought about the number of ventilators in a hospital.
Yeah, I didn't think of that either, because I know like ventilators are like specifically positioned at specific units, just because that's where they're usually based off of. But knowing that this COVID thing is all respiratory, they're gonna need trachs and vents and all these certain things, and it's just going to populate the whole hospital. So of course there's going to be a shortage, and that is scary. I didn't think of that, but yeah, I don't know.
What's your experience with that? I mean, how many wild guess how many ventilators would be like a normal hospital?
Probably normal hospital, I would say like in a big one, probably I'd say like maybe 200. Or probably even less. Probably not that much, but probably 200. And the majority of the 200, probably 50 of those don't work. So
right.
So just knowing that the whole hospital is being filled with COVID, that they're actually closing down units to occupy just COVID patients. It's a lot. But I'm hearing that a lot of hospitals out here, even though they're different organizations, that they're actually helping each other out. Cause it's just So that's.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that too. It seems like a lot of industry doing that too, jumping in. We've heard of I know our an organization that I'm very familiar with has jumped in and started donating supplies, and that organization is short on supplies, but they're doing what they need to share that with folks more on the front line. I've heard of other organizations doing that, jumping in to basically give supplies as much as they can, right? To share as much supplies as they can with healthcare facilities. So I think that's really good. I think it's good to see the community actually coming together to try to make that stuff happen, right? I think that's
actually really nice.
Huge.
It's very encouraging. So
I think that is huge. I thought it was really funny. I'm sure most of you seen the article. I'm certain that I'm pronouncing that wrong, but the hydroxychloroquine, there you go. That was used to treat malaria. They're basically slamming Trump because he had mentioned this during a speech, and then some idiot drank the stuff that was in your fish tank cleaner, because there's like a hyphen or something I'd read, that they basically used like fish tank cleaner because it had this ingredient in it. It was not the one that was used to treat malaria. Wow. And now they're like, it's Trump's fault. Again, natural selection is strong right now. It's going to happen. If you drink your fish tank cleaner, you're an idiot. You deserve it. Sorry. You kind of deserve it. But Garland Goodman. Howdy there, cuz. How has your day been going so far? It's been going good, Garland. How are things going for you? I hope things are going well for you there. We're doing good. Things are, we're hanging in there. Things are treating us pretty good so far. Again, hope things are going well for you in your neck of the woods. Again, we are live streaming to multiple platforms right now. If you don't follow along with us on YouTube, why don't you? Go hang out with us on YouTube. Look up The Hop Nerd. There's a good place to look us up on The Hop Nerd. You can also follow along with Avery's channel, which is called the Dad, Daddy, Daughter Podcast. We have a picture up there on the wall she's saying. We definitely do. You can go check that out. We're just getting that started. We have one trailer for the podcast up, and we have one vlog up, right? We have one video. So if you want to do Avery a favor and go check that out, she would love for you to go watch her video that we put together the other day. So follow along with that. But again, check us out on YouTube. We're posting content constantly to YouTube. If you don't follow me on LinkedIn, please, if you have a LinkedIn, I'm a nerd. That's when you go, oh, I'm trending on LinkedIn, right? It's LinkedIn. I get it. I know people make fun of me for that. But go check me out on LinkedIn. I try to publish a lot of content there. I try to publish a lot of stuff that at least I hope is valuable. I hope you go read it. I hope you like it. I hope you steal it. I hope you use it. I hope you get all that kind of stuff. So I put a bunch of articles there. I put a bunch of stuff there in general. Go check that out. Again, go over to the YouTube channel. I'm putting in a bunch of stuff there frequently, right? A few videos every single week, live streaming every single day right now. So when we live stream, this comes through to my Facebook page, the Sam Goodman Facebook page. It also comes through to the Hop Nerd Facebook page. I also live stream over on Twitch. I never actually go look to see how things go on Twitch, so I don't
What
know.
is Twitch? I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's like the whole like gamer thing. But people live stream there too, I guess. So I live stream there. I live stream on kind of basically all of our platforms, like we said, except for LinkedIn. Boo, LinkedIn. Boo. This isn't high enough production value for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just too for us to be able to live stream on LinkedIn. I'm going to say that and then I'm going to get in trouble with LinkedIn. I'm going to get in trouble with LinkedIn police and get kicked out of LinkedIn. Yeah, Garland, I did. This is my apocalypse haircut, so I shared this the other day. This is. So yeah, Avery's mentioning that it's purple because it's kind of purple. You can't really see too much of the purple in it with the lights in here.
No, with the lights you can see it.
Okay, I mean on the camera, you can't see. I've got the apocalypse mohawk going on right now. So Jarrell had mentioned that he had missed the fact that going to the barber. So I missed that too. I miss going to the hair salon and get my hair done. So most of you that know me, it's been pretty blonde for a while. And then it was, with that, it's going to be a while before I got a chance to get it worked on again. And then Jarrell's talking about missing the barber too. So we've been doing some home barbering. Fortunately, I'm pretty decent at it. So I can at least keep him cut down a little bit. So yeah, Avery actually cut my hair. So if you go over and look at Avery's video that we were just talking about on the Dad, Daddy, Daughter podcast, I think I've shared it down on my Facebook wall. So if you want to go look it up, it's there. Go take a look. It's there, so you can go watch it. She actually cut my hair, and then I helped form it into a mohawk a little bit later. And then we sprayed some temporary purple in it today just for fun. So Avery is my stylist. She takes care of me when it comes to everything like that. Isn't that right, Avery? Here, I'll turn a camera on for you. Why don't you sit right there? Sit right there where your dad was at. Here, I'll turn on a camera for you. You want to say hi to everybody? Okay. Here, say hi. No, you got to actually say hi. Say hi to everybody on the podcast. That way. You say hi? So Avery's hanging out with us. Yeah, again, that's a big thing for us. How are things going for you? We're enjoying this. This part of it at least. I think there's always a positive. You put those scissors down. Hey, put those scissors down. Now we've got a 5-year-old running around with the scissors. That's probably not good.
Running around.
Garland says hi there, Avery.
What?
Garland, your cousin Garland said hi there, Avery.
Who's Garland?
You know Garland.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Again, hope
I
you're.
kind of know him.
You know him.
I
Hope.
don't remember what he looks like.
I hope everyone's doing well out there. We're getting ready to wrap this thing up. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. We always appreciate it. It's always a blast. Again, I'm doing this thing every single day for now at least, right? No promises. I'm going to say that right now. I'll tell you that every time I say that. You might see me tomorrow. You might not. I don't know. If you see that little, hey, Sam's live right now, you should hang out with me. Give us a call, 480-712. I think that's 7. Is it a 7? That's a 7. 480-712-5219. Tune in, hang out, give us a call, shoot us a text. I got a feeling it'll probably just be me and Avery tomorrow hanging out.
Yeah, where's Drill gonna be?
He's going to be working because that's what he's doing right now.
You always have to work. Because he's the boss.
Because he's the boss. There you go. That's a pretty good answer. But tune in. So I'm planning on seeing you tomorrow around 2 o'clock Arizona time. Maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later. We'll see. At a very minimum, you'll have us at our normal show times. Wednesdays at 5 p.m., Fridays at 8. That's our late show. Again, those just go however long I feel like going. My average is somewhere between an hour, 2 hours-ish. So tune in, hang out, give us a call. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, if you have anything that you would like to send for me to talk about or anything that you want to have or any questions you have, make sure you send it over to 480-877-0155. You can always get a hold of my email, sam@gmail.com. The Hop Nerd, I'm so distracted. sam@thehopnerd.com. There we go. sam@thehopnerd.com. I wish I could get sam@gmail.com. That'd be super cool, wouldn't it? I bet somebody has that, though. So sam@thehopnerd.com or thehopnerd@gmail.com. You can go over to the website, www.thehopnerd.com, and I'd appreciate it if you do go check that out. Take a look at that stuff. Again, go subscribe to all those social media things. I really appreciate it. If you're on LinkedIn, go give me a follow. If you're on Facebook right now watching us, head over to the Hop Nerd. Just look up the Hop Nerd. You can see that logo. Look at that logo down in the corner. You'll find that in the corner of that, or on the profile of that. Go like the Hop Nerd page. I greatly appreciate it. If you're following me on LinkedIn under Sam Goodman, please go over and actually follow along on the Hop Nerd page too. And again, go subscribe to us on YouTube. I would greatly appreciate that subscribe. Again, tons and tons and tons of content, pumping it out all the time. I hope that you're having as much fun with this as I am. It's a blast, again, bringing a little bit of sanity and normalcy back to our day. We always appreciate you hanging out with us. Until next time, it is Sam Goodman, the Hop Nerd, signing out. It's Jarrell signing out too. It's Avery, the little girl that messes with her cameras. She's signing out too. Until tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? How about that? Before then, go check out the website. Send me a text. Get ready to give me a call tomorrow. Somebody call me tomorrow. I think it'll be a lot of fun. 480-712-5219. Write that down. Put that in your phone right now and put a little note in there that says, I'm going to call Sam tomorrow and have something cool to talk about with him about the apocalypse. Until tomorrow, it's Sam Goodman, the Hop Nerd, signing off, and our family signing off. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.